Alright guys, so today I'm in Manchester and I'm here to do the MotorMouth Podcast, talking all things motorsport, and naturally, because it's a podcast, we'll be going off tangent and speaking about everything else.
MotorMouth Podcast, episode number 2. How you been, Harry? What's been happening?
I've been alright, yeah, no, it's nice to be on the second one.
Welcome very much, Mr. Kelvin Fletcher. How are you?
I'm very good, thanks guys. What a great intro that was, huh? Thank you.
I brought you a brand new MotorMouth cap.
Oh, brilliant.
And I don't know whether you're one of those people with a massive head like Harry.
I've got a small head.
Yeah, they don't fit me.
There you go. Try that for size.
Okay. At school, you know, kids are quite, you're in your little groups. Whereas with acting, in that drama group, I could do scenes with a girl who was 13, 14 years old. Whereas at school, she wouldn't be seen. I don't want to be near a young 8-year-old lad, it's just not cool. Whereas in acting, suddenly we're all together. And it was like that across every kind of social group within school.
It's like all the rules are out the window, really.
Exactly, yeah. So you've got to really mix and you know, and that I think was quite unique to acting, and I don't really see that anywhere else. Not really within sport, certainly within school. That's what was great for me with the drama. And when you get to play a character, or you're with somebody else, and you say, right, Kelvin, pretend that you're really angry at this other guy. You don't know why. Go, and you just really embellish your personality and your imagination, and just really kind of lose yourself in these. And as a kid with a big imagination, I absolutely loved it, and I thought it was a really good foundation for. Not just for wanting to be an actor, but just socially anyway.
I started acting when I was probably, I don't know, 10 years old, whatever, but a little bit later, but for the exact same reasons. But it's a great way of also having to deal with rejection very early on. Was it quite a good setup in that terms at the beginning of your career to sort of test you for it, really?
Yeah, I think there's one thing that it instilled in me, partly from my parents as well, especially my dad, was work ethic. And I think that's probably my strongest, my asset really, is that you can apply that to anything. But when I was 13, 14 years old, probably going through my GCSEs or getting ready for my GCSEs, I was in a comprehensive school in Oldham. I was getting up at 6 o'clock in the morning. My granddad was taking me over to Leeds. I'd do a morning filming where I was expected to, you're treated like a child, but you're expected to act like an adult, to be professional, know your lines, know where to stand, have a certain set etiquette. No one kind of teaches you that. No one came to me on first day and says, you're going to be filming on this major TV show. People are going to stop you in the street and maybe say nasty things. No one prepares you for that. There's no script, there's no formula. You just kind of take it in and learn on the job, really. Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about that and the thinking behind that. We've obviously got your camera here today.
Rich filming today.
Tell us a bit about the concept and why you started this.
People are always asking me what you're up to, what you're doing, whether it's in the street or on Twitter or whatever. And I think visually this is an opportunity to be able to show them. I had touch base with a friend of mine who's got a little production company, and I said, listen, this is what racing is to me. This is how a racing weekend looks, but there's a whole element of racing that people don't see. That it's it's in the garage afterwards, it's in the barbecues of the family. That to me is completely accessible and completely relatable to everybody.
You've obviously recently taken part in a very interesting TV show where we saw much more of you than that is. I'm never going to unsee those images.
Sorry about that.
But the Full Monty, obviously amazing experience. How did you get into that, and then what a thing to do?
Yeah, amazing. I had reservations naturally when I was first asked. It was November, I think, December. I was in London doing a musical, and my agent rang and says the show had been in touch, and I was like, the show where you get naked? He was like, yeah. And I'd never seen it before, but I was aware of it, and I was like, absolutely no way. And I said no. He came back and said that IT really want you to do it. Well, he was just saying that, I don't know, but I said no again. So I was adamant, not because I thought it was a great show. Well, I've never seen it, but I didn't want to get my kit off. It didn't really feel very credible for me. So I sat down and watched it, and I was blown away. I was like, wow, this is not about getting you get your kids off, but it's certainly not about that at all. The message is so much deeper than that. It's to raise awareness. And to kind of say, if we are willing to bear on in front of millions of people, then for you to go and see your doctor and get checked, it's not that big of a deal, and that's all it is, really. Yeah,
I mean, amazing cause, and by all accounts, it's been tremendously well received.
Yeah.
Kelvin,
it's been a pleasure.
Thank
you so much for talking to us.
Thank you.
So guys, just finished the podcast, and now I've come down to a barber shop, Colton Coffee behind me, owned by a friend of mine, Jordan James. The reason why I'm here is because this beard I actually become quite attached to, it's got to go. I'll start filming next week for a World War II film, and my character needs to have a moustache. So the director's told me that this has got to go, and I've got to be left with a nice little moustache. So here we go. Here we go, man. How good is this? Alright, mate. You big fan. I've done it. What do you think?
I like it actually.
Do you quite like it, yeah?
You know what? It's quite sexy.
Is it? Seriously?
I actually quite like it.
At first it was quite long, it was down here, but it looked like a little bit like a motorbike gang. I guess the final question would be for you guys watching. Do you prefer Kelvin with a beard or Kelvin with a tash? Let me know.